Another oh so common thing that I hear from parents as they're embarking on their homeschooling adventures is this. I love unschooling, but I want my kids to learn the basics first. And while I completely understand the intention behind that statement, we have to pause and unpack that a little bit. Different people mean different things when it comes to the basics. For some, it's learning to read fluently. Then that expands to spelling and maybe choosing reading for fun. For others, it's math skills. But how far? Multiplication, algebra, geometry? And then writing often makes that list too. But again, where's the line? A neatly written essay or just being able to text in full sentences? So when we prioritize these three R's, reading, writing, and arithmetic, as if it's the single thread that the entire tapestry of learning leans on, it's worth asking, is that really true? So think about it. Did you learn important life skills today because you can still diagram sentences or prove a geometry theorem or write a perfect 5-paragraph essay? Most of us spent years drilling on those basics. And yet, how often do they really show up in our adult lives? Unschooling invites us to step back and ask the deeper questions. Do kids really need this? Do they need it now? Could they learn it differently, more naturally, if we didn't force it? So here's the other layer that we don't always think about. Maybe the basics themselves need a refresh. Take penmanship, for example. Do kids need to spend hours perfecting cursive in 2025? For some, handwriting will matter, for art or calligraphy or personal notes. But for most of us, the real basic is clear communication, no matter what the tool is. That could mean typing or texting or even creating a video message. Or think about math. Is the real basic solving long division on paper? Don't you have a calculator on your phone? Or is it being comfortable with numbers enough to budget or compare prices or calculate tips or understand a news story about percentages and polls? And what about the skills that schools never labeled basic at all, but now feel more essential than cursive or memorizing capitals? Like how to find reliable information in a world full of search engines and misinformation, or critical thinking, not just solving problems, but knowing which questions to ask, or executive function. We hear that term, but do we really know what that means? It's about planning and prioritizing and staying flexible when things change. Or maybe emotional literacy, noticing your feelings, communicating them, understanding others and their feelings. When we stop and look at life as it actually is today, it's clear the basics aren't just the 3 R's anymore. They're the skills that help us navigate this constantly changing world and build healthy relationships and keep learning long after childhood. So here's the part that feels unorthodox or maybe controversial, but at the same time, very reassuring. Kids do learn the basics. They just don't always learn them in the way we expect. Reading shows up in gaming and texting friends and street signs and menus and subtitles and instructions. Writing shows up in social media posts or fan fiction or lists or letters or emails. Math shows up in cooking, allowance, sports statistics, building, shopping, gaming economies. The world constantly offers the basics for free, and kids grab onto them when they're meaningful. When we wrestle that away from them with our pronouncement of doing the basics first, how kids hear that is often, you can't follow your interests until you've earned it. It makes learning feel like a gatekeeper instead of a natural part of life. Have you ever had a child pick up a toy at a store and then notice the word educational on the box and immediately say, nope, don't want that? That usually happens with kids who've been through school or a more traditional curriculum-heavy version of homeschooling. They've been taught to separate learning from life. It's like when parents say, eat your dinner first before you can have dessert. Even if the meal is something they enjoy, baked potatoes, maybe they like broccoli, it now feels like a chore that they have to slog through just to get to what they really want. The forbidden fruit effect kicks in. So we've made kids think play is the forbidden fruit. But play is actually where so much learning lives. Curiosity and problem solving and creativity and persistence, all those grow through play. By separating education from fun, we do kids a disservice. We tell them that learning can't be joyful, when in reality, it's the joy that makes it stick. Let's not turn something natural, like reading, into something stressful. Instead of putting basics at the door and making kids knock, what if we open the door and invite them into all of it? What if we walk through the door and see all the learning that's happening in the activities they already enjoy without asking them to jump through some arbitrary hoops just because that's easier for us to see? The basics and the beyond basics weave together in daily life. Unschooling parents learn to trust that the basics will come along for the ride, while curiosity and connection and confidence take the lead. So I want you to try this right now. Pause for a moment and make a quick list of what you consider the basics. Be honest, what skills are you worried that your kids won't pick up if you don't teach them first? Then ask yourself, do I actually use this skill in my adult life? Could my child bump into it more naturally through daily life or interests? Am I withholding something joyful until the basics is mastered? And who is telling me, or why am I thinking I have to push for this before we go on to do other things? Because that's the thing about unschooling. We are creating the map as we go. We're not following somebody else's map. Our map completely fits our family, our kids, you, the parents, the community, the home life. It's all very individualized, as it should be. And that's what allows them to learn best. So if you're nodding along, but still want some concrete reassurance, I got you covered. I've created a free PDF that will help you get started. It will help you start to see from this unschooling perspective. And if you need a little more help in specific areas, my unschooling guides for reading and writing and math are all available too, individually, but also at a discount if you need them all. I'll put a link to that too. This bundle of guides will show you that unschooling just looks at the basics differently. It reframes the starting point and the path to get there. I'll leave those links in the description and at the website so you'll have them. The bottom line is that unschooling doesn't ignore the basics. It simply trusts that they'll grow right alongside all the other important skills of life in a way that makes more sense and sticks longer because it's rooted in your child's curiosity. The basics. It's time we look at it a little differently, right? All right. I'll be back again next week. Happy unschooling. Reach out if you need anything.